What is up, guys? This is Rise, and welcome to another video. The Love Cup is upon us. As I'm recording this, the Love Cup has just gone live in the Go Battle League, and I know a lot of you guys said last time I did a video introducing some potential teams to use. You enjoyed it, you wanted to see another one, so I'm going to just be taking you through 5 potential teams that you can use in the Love Cup. These are going to be a combination of teams that are going to be kind of meta, that I think will really help you gain ELO points, and then some teams that are more fun, spicy teams if you're more just looking to have a good time. So before we get into it and we introduce the teams, maybe I'll leave a timestamp when I start the top 5 teams. You get a sneak peek at one already. But just wanted to address from last video with the Shadow Hippowdon submission that there was, I said some things in there that upset a few people when, like, for example, it was a legend battler that had tanked and was battling against ace ranked battlers, and some people thought I was being a little bit mean towards some of the plays of the ace ranked battlers. For example, I made fun of the Swampert that was running Surf instead of Hydro Cannon, and I kind of laughed at it. When in reality, the fact that the Swampert with Surf actually beat the Legend Rank Battler is even more impressive than if it had Hydro Cannon. So that's something I always try and do. I always try and be positive, and maybe I was denigrating the plays of some of the opponents more so than I was complimenting things they did well. So I apologize for that. I feel like normally I'm pretty good about praising people's plays from all ELO ranks, and at the end of the day, this is just a game, right? So I had one person that used to comment, Squirrel Trapper, if you're still there, let me know. But he used to comment on every single one of my videos like something negative, and Squirrel Trapper said like you think you're so cool because you're good at Pokemon Go PvP. Like, no, it's the absolute opposite. Like, this is just a game, and I'm well aware that I have a pretty broad perspective on life, and I know this is just a small portion of it, but it's a game, it's a community that we all enjoy together. So, no, I don't look down upon anyone for their ELO. That would be the most ignorant thing in the world. And I coach people from all different ELO ranges, from all different skill levels. I had a recent student hit Expert for the first time. I had a recent student pass 2,000 ELO for the first time. They were all hyped up about that. Everybody starts somewhere, and we're all just trying to have fun with this game. So if anyone took that the wrong way in the last video, apologies, Robert, my man, if you're watching. You seem like a really cool dude, so I hope you accept the apology. But all that said, where is the love? People killing, people dying, children hurting and crying, and you practice what you preach. Okay, enough of that. Now, all that said, it's time to get into the teams. So, you guys want to see 5 teams to use in Love Cup. These are in no particular order. It's not like these are the 5 best teams, but these are 5 teams that I came up with or was inspired elsewhere for 1 or 2 of them. So, if you're wondering where I am, I'm just going to pvpoke.com. And then you can go to the rankings if you want to see the top ranked Pokemon in the Love Cup based on performance. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to Team Builder, and I'm going to plug in these 5 teams. So the first one, you've seen the graphic on the screen already. This is a pretty strong meta team that I ran last Love Cup, I believe. I think I got it from another content creator. I can't remember who. So if it was you, content creator, that I took it from, let me know. But this is just one that I remembered off the top of my head, and it's a Alomomola with Sunny Charum and Vileplume in the back, and it's kind of like Grass Hole but with a Alomomola instead of Bastiodon, and it's having Sludge Bomb in here instead of Petal Blizzard. I also make sure you change this instead of Open Great League to Love Cup. So I actually prefer to have Hyper Beam on the Charum, because what ends up happening is sometimes people don't expect the Hyper Beam, and let's say you have a bad lead against your Alomomola, you swap into Charum, worst case scenario they swap in like a Charizard, you can surprise the Charizard with Hyper Beam and one-shot it if they're not expecting it. So Sunny Charum with Hyper Beam, Vileplume, and by the way, bit of a spoiler, you're going to see a lot of Hyper Beam Pokemon in this video. I almost thought about changing the title to like 5 Hyper Beam teams, but then I'm like, no, I'm not going to just make all Hyper Beam teams. But anyway, Vileplume, it has Petal Blizzard here. I think Moonblast is probably just a better move overall. You're already getting enough grass damage from Razor Leaf, right? So yeah, this is the team, and then you just click rate team, and it's going to come up with some grades. So a B for coverage, C for bulk, C for safety, B for consistency. So decent ratings, not the best, but not that bad either. And then we take a look at how it performs against the meta, and then we scroll down. I like to always scroll down to potential threats. So I see, is there anything I'm super weak to? And if we look at these, all right, so Lickitung's the #1 threat, but all 3 of our Pokemon are neutral against Lickitung. Lickitung's just such a bulky beast that it's going to beat all 3 individually. But I bet the Alomomola matchup against Lickitung is probably pretty close, right? So yeah, Lickitung wins this matchup, which is 17 HP remaining. So maybe you get a nice little Bullet Seed down with your Cherrim after that. Galarian Slowbro would be tough. It is a poison psychic type, so that's a type of Pokemon, right? You'd have to lure out with the Cherrim if you don't see it in the lead. Maybe you get a shield with the Hyper Beam, and then I'm sure Alomomola, once it's been chipped, can probably take it out. And then you're saving shields for Vileplume in the back if you can, because Cherrim is going to lure out their grass counter, right? And then if you lure out their grass counter and then take it out with Alomomola, Vileplume will most likely be able to sweep him back with its Razor Leaf damage. So yeah, Medicham, another tough one. Druddigon would definitely be tough. Galarian Slowking, I could see that. You're probably not going to see too many executes, but who knows? And yeah, and then Talonflame, of course, you got one hard counter for it, so you got to lure it out with that Cherrim, and then Alomomola can clean up. So that's team number 5, and we'll go to team number 4 after this. So team number 4, got the graphics all ready to go. Bam! We've got Scolipede, Slowbro, and Electro, and this is a team that I received a submission from last Love Cup, and I made a video. It's actually almost a year ago to date, which is crazy. Sometimes I don't even feel like I've been playing this game competitively for a year, but it's been well over a year and a half now. Time flies when you're having fun. So we've got Scolipede, Slowbro, and Electro. Plug all 3 of them in. And once again, you can run Foul Play if you want. Foul Play is probably a little bit safer because you can get to it quicker. It's going to hit a lot of things for neutral damage, but I like having that Hyper Beam as a surprise. And if it gets shielded, it's pretty tough because you're wasting a lot of energy. But if shields are down, it's going to flip you a lot of games where you wouldn't necessarily have been able to get off 2 discharges, but you do get to 1 Hyper Beam. That is, I mean, it's almost the same energy, right? It's 45 for discharge and 80 for Hyper Beam, so it's only 10 difference, but still. And yeah, we see the team ratings: coverage B, bulk D, safety B, consistency B. So once again, pretty solid. But you got to take the ratings with a grain of salt, right? Because I always like to say, for example, the Sims are the best resource we have. PvPoke is the best resource we have for this game for learning it. But like in the Sims, Trevenant beats Talonflame because in the Sims you bait with the Seed Bomb and then you land the Shadow Ball. But Talonflames are usually just going to 2-shield their way through. So you got to take the Sims with a grain of salt. Once again, our boy Lickitung is the biggest threat. He's just so bulky. Wormadam Trash makes sense. Yeah, Scolipede and Slowbro are going to struggle against Wormadam Trash. So if you see a Wormadam Trash, you're probably in a rough spot. Maybe you have to lead the Electrode, to be honest. That's definitely a core breaker. But Electrode can handle Wormadam Trash if it's not in the lead. We've got Crustle. Crustle would be tough, but I mean, Slowbro safe swap. The Confusions, I think, could really chunk it. Dwebble, I don't expect you to see too many Dwebbles. And Macargo doesn't concern me too much because you've got a neutral answer in Electrode and a pretty decent answer in Slowbro. I mean, if it's running Incinerate, yeah, Macargo is going to do fine. And then Talonflame, like, you got 2 answers for Talonflame. This is another example. The Sims say Talonflame beats Slowbro, but that's baiting the Flame Charge and then landing the Brave Bird. So take it with a grain of salt. Solid team, 637 threat score. And basically, you've got a Pokemon that's really good against grass in the lead. You can try and bait out a grass with really either. I think Slowbro or Electrode both make sense as the safe swap. And then, or if you see like a Talonflame lead, you could safe swap either one of those two, Slowbro or Electrode, bait out a grass, get a farm down, land a Sludge Bomb on the Talonflame. Talonflame is not going to want to eat a Sludge Bomb. So I think this team definitely has some play. And we go to the next team, team number 3. A little bit of spice in here. We've got Milotic with, I mean, we could actually look at both. We could look at Dragon Tail and we could look at Waterfall. And remember, these teams are not set in stone. So if you're commenting, Rise, what if I want to use Waterfall Milotic instead of Dragon Tail? Bro, go for it. This is just a template of some potential teams, some ideas you could use. Magmortar is next up with Community Day, Legacy Thunderbolt. And then Medicham and back. And Medicham actually is recommended to use Power Up Punch instead of Ice Punch because Power Up Punch, there's not a ton that's going to resist counter in this meta. There's going to be a lot of like elemental type Pokemon, water, grass, fire, electric. And Power Up Punch, you're going to be able to ramp up. And we just know Medicham is such a strong Pokemon in general. It's going to be a really good closer. So this is a much more neutral team. It kind of covers all the bases. It's not necessarily like an ABB type strategy where you're luring something out. This is a very neutral team, I would say. And it's got an A for coverage, first A for coverage, C for bulk, B for safety, B for consistency. We scroll down to the top threats, and Galarian Slowbro and Galarian Slowpoke are the top 2 threats, so makes sense, right? That poison psychic typing, they're both going to resist the fighting moves from Magmortar and Medicham, so those would be tough. You'd probably have to try and line up Milotic with it and maybe land the psychic if you can get shields. That's probably how you'd have to try and overcome that. Execute Mr. Mime. I don't see those being too frequent. And then once again, Lickitung, Medicham. And then we've got some Charmers. Makes sense, right? Charmers. So you probably want to lure out the Charmer, I guess, with Magmortar. And now that I think about it, it is kind of weak to Charm. So if we swap Waterfall, let's see what our threat score was. With Dragon Tail, it was 624. If we make it Waterfall, let's see if that improves it a little bit. It does. It goes way down. And now the Charmers are not as much of an issue. Look at this. The Charmers have disappeared from our potential threats. So I think Waterfall, we have learned, is the way to go. Now there's only one Pokemon that we don't have something that just beats straight up, and that's Execute. Which, how many Executes are we going to see? I don't know. So it looks like, just based off of a little bit of experimenting in BB Poke, we realized that Waterfall is the way to go, specifically with this team comp, especially. So there you go, Milotic, Magmortar, and Medicham for team number 3. And now it's time for team number 2. And this is an OP team. This one, some of you might groan, say, oh, this is so meta. But if you're looking for a powerful team that's going to maximize your chances to climb Elo, this is going to be one of them. Talonflame, Lickitung, and Scrafty. And I know not all of you probably have a Lickitung. It is an XL Pokemon. But I think at this point, I think there's probably a lot of you that do have it. So that's why I'm making 5 teams, right? You might not have a few of the Pokemon in here, but hopefully there's at least one team in here where you have all 3 Pokemon. And we look at I skipped over the ratings. Coverage A, and then bulks B, safety B, consistency B, B's across the board except for the coverage. And you guys, when you see the threat score of this team, it is pretty wild. It is wild. Look at that. 453 threat score. When you get a threat score below 500, that's pretty insane. This team's coverage is just off the charts. Talonflame is the only Pokemon you don't have like a hard answer for. So you kind of just have to tag team it. Obviously, Try and win the Talonflame mirror if you can, but people are going to be crazy with their flame charge baits and stuff. And then Lickitung. Lickitung can handle Talon. So like if we look at the Talonflame versus Licky matchup, let's see. It looks like Talonflame actually loses the 0 shield. So if you're Lickitung against the Talonflame, you can actually just not commit any shields, and you'll come out of that with at least a shield advantage, or win the 0 shield. And then it looks like Wigglytuff, number 3. Wigglytuff is bad for the back line, but Talonflame just destroys it. So you really, if you can lure out the Lickitung, or sorry, if you can lure out the Wiggly with your Lickitung, Wiggly should slightly beat Lickitung, but Lickitung can probably get a shield. And then once the Wiggly's going, Scrafty can just ramp up and sweep its way through the back. Let's look at the Wigglytuff Lickitung matchup. So Wigglytuff wins all even shield scenarios, so you don't really want to commit any shields if you're the Lickitung. Obviously the Licks are double resisted, so they're each going to do 1 damage, and the Charms are going to do 12 damage, which is kind of a funny discrepancy. That's so much. But really strong team, extremely good threat score. The coverage is insane. And if you're looking for a strong team, you're trying to make that late season push, I think this could potentially be a team that helps you do that, helps you put you over the edge. Okay, lots of talking this video. And now, the last team, team number 1. Boom, we've got a spicy team. We had a spicy week this past week, and I was looking at the rankings of the top Pokemon. Here, I can come back to this team builder. I was looking at the rankings, and I was just kind of searching through. I was like, what are 3 Pokemon that you normally don't see too often that are pretty high in the rankings? And you could put them together. So I saw Galarian Slowbro here at number 9, which was interesting. We keep scrolling down. Oh, wait, I think I missed Seaking. Yeah, Seaking's number 8. So I saw these two together at 8 and 9. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And then we scroll down. There's Druddigon at number 33. So all of them like fairly high ranked. And we go back to Team Builder. We click on Love Cup, and we put these guys in there. So Druddigon in the first spot. Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw, Night Slash. Seaking is a triple legacy Pokemon. So I know there's a fair amount of you that probably don't have Seaking. And maybe for this team specifically, I'll give an alternative for what you could use instead of Seaking. Because I don't have a legacy Seaking. And I don't recommend that you use 3 elite TMs for, unless you have like a really high rank one, or you have a ton of elite TMs to spare. But there's probably better Pokemon than Seaking that you can invest your elite TMs in. And that's the wrong Slowbro. We need his cousin from the Galarian region. And rate team, B for coverage, D for bulk, a little bit glassy, C for safety, and A for consistency, which is interesting. So it has consistent move sets and dependable damage output. That makes sense. You got quite a bit of fast move damage with this team, Dragon Tail and Poison Jab. We look at the potential threats. Oh my gosh, Lickitung. Knock it off, bro. Lickitung is always our top threat. Scolipede, okay. Makes sense. Scolipede, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty neutral across the board, right? I guess it's going to resist the jabs from both of our back Pokemon, and it has that X-Scissor that's going to outpace Slowbro, so makes sense, but I feel like Druddigon can definitely hang with it. Scrafty, yeah, Scrafty would be tough. I'm surprised it actually beats Galarian. Whoa, it beats Galarian Slowbro. Let's take a look at that matchup. Wow, Scrafty wins easily with a Pup Bait and land the Foul Play. It looks like Slowbro does win the 0 shield, which makes sense with Focus Blast. How much does a Foul Play do? Foul Play does 62%. The counters are each doing like 2%. They're resisted. They're double resisted, but they still do 2%. That's crazy. Scrafty's just too much of a beast, and because Slowbro doesn't really have any charge move pressure, it gets to its moves kind of slow. That makes sense. But you know what? What if we change it and the Scrafty doesn't bait? These are some things you can do in PvPoke. The Scrafty doesn't bait. Suddenly Scrafty loses in the 0 and the 1s if Scrafty doesn't bait. So Scrafty kind of needs to bait in that matchup. Looks like it can win the 2 shield though, straight foul play. Wormadam Trash. I think Wormadam Trash actually is one of the bigger threats to this team, even more so than Lickitung or any of these top 3. Because Wormadam Trash, it's going to resist all 3 fast moves. So you really have to like tag team it. I think best case scenario is you swap in Seaking against the Wormadam Trash and they stay in hopefully. And then you can chip at it and then just like Dragon Tail it down with Druddigon. And then it's out of the way for the Slowbro and back. So that's probably best case scenario, but Wormadam Trash definitely would be tough. Talonflame I don't think is that tough. It's number 6, but like Druddigon I would say has a favorable matchup there. Seaking's going to resist the Incinerates. You just have to respect the Brave Bird. And then it's neutral for Slowbro. So I think this would be a difficult team to use. But if you have these 3 and you're looking to have some fun, spice it up, I think this is a team that could be effective in the right hands. So just kind of a fun team I wanted to put in there that incorporates some high-ranked Pokemon in the Love Cup that you don't normally see very much in the Open Great League. So all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. Comment down below anything you'd like. All comments are appreciated. They help out the channel. And subscribe if you're new as well. Let me know if you're looking forward to Love Cup or if you're going to be doing some Master League instead. All that said, thank you for watching one more time, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.